never install Mario's name, Dick Lord the Untarnished.
He hasn't changed it.
No, I didn't get the memo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to your monthly edition of the Model Citizens Show. This is episode number 3 of our new version of this here podcast. I'm your host, Logan Moore, and joining me today, we'll run through everybody quickly. Grant Callahan is here.
Hi.
The coffee wizard.
Wow. Max is talking out of turn. Max Roberts is here.
Not the coffee wizard.
Michael Ruiz is here, wearing a hat that says Miles again, which is not his name.
The
no, it's not.
Mage.
The beer mage.
And then Mario Rivera is here. Hello, Mario.
The Dick Lord Untarnished. That's who I am.
That is who you are.
Yes.
The water bender. I assume that's water.
Yeah.
So
Pandora.
before we get into this episode this week, so the reason I really wanted to host this episode is because I told you guys I had something that I wanted to bring up.
Oh no!
And the thing I wanted to bring up is that, guys, I'm having a child. I'm having a child, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
God.
So let's talk about this for the next hour.
What kind of child are we talking about?
Yeah,
one of the
legs?
baby kinds.
God.
I think it'll have 2. I haven't seen it yet, though.
How much seed did you need to make it? That's what I want to know.
Seed?
Yeah, what seed did you make?
How much seed did I need? I don't know. A lot.
What's that? Wait, what?
I'm so confused.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm not having a child. I lied. But somebody on this panel might be.
Might.
You're just take your guesses.
Who wants to speak up and say they're having a child?
In the
that is
comments
not
down
me?
below, please let us know. Who do you think gave someone a baby? Because it's
Who's
one of us.
reproducing? I'm just so bamboozled. I'm the one having a child.
You actually got me, Logan. I was like, wait a second. This man.
And I was like, is this how he's telling us that he's
like-
reproduced? This is strange.
You went straight.
First, I would have to
straight
tell
past
you
the
that I
dating
met
phase.
a woman. That would have to be step 1, I think. But
Did we spend like a section of the last episode talking about Tinder? So that makes sense. It's just
I
like,
think we did.
Yeah.
If you listen to
A
the
lot
order,
can
the
happen in a month.
episodes sequentially,
Yeah.
you'd be like, wow, lots happened in the last 4 weeks of Logan's life.
Actually,
Anyways.
Max told me he actually recorded our reactions to that. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and insert it right there. Hopefully I did that. All right, continue, Max.
Okay, cool. Thanks to the power of editing, you've all found out that Max had a child. Max, you're having a kid. I
Yes.
guess
I
we
am.
can have a real discussion about that.
I forgot. I make coffee before every podcast. I'm gonna lift this up. My head rips a little
Oh, I didn't know you did that because I'm also drinking coffee.
Oh,
I'm drinking.
low. I thought that was beer.
Not
I drink coffee before every podcast. I feel like it gives me an energy, a spice.
Yeah.
green tea
Anyway.
lotion? Does that help?
My
Lotion. What?
What? In a beer bottle?
We don't need to continue. We don't need to keep questioning that. Continue.
Anyway, I have a mug. It's actually back there somewhere. A God of War mug that says like Midgar's best dad, and I was supposed to drink out of that tonight, and I forgot. So I've let you all down.
Yeah. Big letdown.
I'm
But
pretty
yeah.
sure Kratos lives in Midgard, bro. So I don't know.
We all
about
live
that.
in Midgard.
Yeah, we all live in Midgar.
That's right.
I think
Yeah,
so.
Midgar's Earth.
We are in Midgar.
Asgard is what you meant.
But the mug says
Asgard?
Midgard,
Asgard.
Asgard.
and it does say boy. When you put a hot beverage in it, it like decide.
Is it actually a God
Usually-
of War branded thing?
Usually
Yeah,
put
it's
hot
for
liquid in
Fangamer.
anything. It does say.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I digress. I'm having a baby in October. October 13th is the due date.
Dude, that's the day Brutal Legend came out. That's the day, Max. No, I'll tie this to Max. Max, that's the day Uncharted 2 came out.
No way.
October 13th?
That's
Yes.
incredible.
Wow,
If my
Max
child is
lined up
born on
his
the
child
anniversary
with
of
the best
Uncharted
Naughty
2.
Dog game. It was destined to be.
It was
wait for
October
little
13th
Nathan
of
to be
2009.
Holy
born.
crap! There you go.
Are you impressed that I know this in my brain?
I'm
for some
actually a
reason?
little spooked, a little scared that you didn't. That's a very impressive.
Congratulations. Naughty Dog fan number 1 lines up his child's birth with Naughty Dog's good game date.
If only I could have lined it up with November. It was 11th, right? No, 1st. November 1st of 2011 was Uncharted 3. If only I could have done that. But
Now you definitely had an innovative
You could just
crash.
have Abby, just have her hold
hold
it in
it,
until
hold
that.
it, 2 more weeks. Not really how it works.
Just pinch it off for a couple
It
more
won't.
weeks. Maybe not pinch it off. That's the wrong. term.
No,
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say pinch it. That'd be the
Pinch it
opposite.
off.
One the other
Yeah,
way.
yeah, that'd be the opposite.
Like pinching a loaf or whatever.
Yeah,
With
just
a baby.
We,
cross your legs.
we don't know what it is yet. We find that out in June, so everyone could look forward to that in like 2 episodes to find out what the child will
Wow, I have a
be.
model
wait.
citizen's gender.
It's genius.
We'll know if he has his God of War mug and it says it's a boy.
Yeah, if I have that mug and it says boy on it.
Are
gonna have
you want to know the gender of the baby?
I would be fine waiting until it pops out to find out.
Sure.
But Abby can't wait 40 weeks. for
But
that.
you want
So-
you want to reveal it to everyone is what I mean more.
Oh yeah, everyone. I think I told her if we're gonna do a gender reveal, there are 2 things. We made a deal, so no, we're not gonna tell anyone the name, which will be a point
already
I'm
know.
sure Logan will bring up later. We're not telling anyone the name. There's something in my. But we get to find out the gender is this is the trade off there, and I think the party or whatever will just be like my parents are conveniently in town when that's happening, so I think we're just gonna get together with our families and find that out together, and then we'll put it on the internet or something. I told her I really don't want to do a gender reveal party unless it burns down half the state, but she doesn't seem to
Awesome.
be down for that. So
No, you should. I would love to see that.
that's the goal, right? You know,
Yeah.
I've gotta
never-
try and one up the.
Here, can
Never like Florida anyway.
I
so.
pitch one to you that's not dangerous but still dangerous? Ready for this? I want you, Happy. I want you to skydive, all right? But the
It's like a great idea.
Nope,
but I
already.
want it to
We're
be
already in.
I want it to be to Red Hot Chili Peppers Higher Ground. Just like the
Yes.
beginning
In
scene
Power
of in
Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Yes.
I want you on the board. I want you to
And
be on
then
the board.
And then you're listening to Van Halen.
As you're going down. And then I want Abby to pop the chute, and then it's gonna tell you if it's blue or pink.
And then we'll know right before we die. And our
You're
legs
right.
go
Right.
to
Yeah.
our brains.
Exactly. 100%.
Nope, not doing that. But I like
Or
the
it could be the
idea.
they
I
symbol.
appreciate
Whatever you
the thought.
decide.
Yes. So we get.
So wait, you
to-
said you don't like the idea of a gender reveal party, or you're fine with it?
Oh, I'm
or-
fine. I'm fine. I just would prefer just not to know flat out. I'm fine telling people or whatever. I don't want it to be a party. I just a get together or whatever with her parents and my parents and stuff like that. So that'll happen in the beginning of June. So whenever we record in June, you'll all know by then, but
Yes.
we'll tell everyone else. It'll be fun.
Sick.
No skydiving.
I feel like the
None.
name is going to be something alien related, considering all of your things.
Yes. Hold on.
No, that's just
Lil Zeno.
Yeah,
yeah,
Zeno.
No, the alien stuff I've done is just
Old
I've always had the
Nostromo.
idea for those two particular things. One was taking the Alien Resurrection video game poster, which is an ultrasound of a xenomorph inside Ellen
Yeah.
Ripley's
I'm gonna find it
body.
and put it on the
And I was just
screen.
like, that's a great baby reveal thing. Like, you just tweak that a little bit. That's awesome. And it works out even better given the due date is the 13th of October. It just adds to the horror element of it. And then that other comic has also just been, I discovered that very early in our marriage. I was like, this is how I need to share this. And it ironically is all timed out with Alien Day, which was yesterday. So I've just been on a little alien kick lately.
I figured if it was a girl, you were going to name her Ellen, because then you can also nickname her Ellie, which would cover 2 bases then.
And then I could get Alien and The Last of Us in one name.
One name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well,
There you
no
go.
one is going to guess the names that we have chosen. So
Would anybody? I don't know Max's planning.
Was it like
name.
Caleb?
no.
What is
I,
that?
I, guess, I don't know if you
Crash.
have, or maybe you can feel comfortable confirming or denying this right now. But are you taking into account the name of your kid based on the names of fictional characters, or is that something you're not doing? Because that's always been a weird thing to me, because then you've got situations where it's like, what if your feelings end up changing?
Like people who named their daughter Khaleesi.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
Yes.
and then she burns, and then it's like, wow, I hate Game of Thrones now. My
Yeah.
child's name.
All right. Oh, time out. Before we start this, I'm watching Game of Thrones for the first time. I'm only on the first season. Don't spoil anything.
All right.
Well,
Enjoy
all
that.
you need to know, Grant, all you need to know, Grant, is there was a surge in the naming of daughters named Khaleesi
Yes.
during the run of Game of Thrones. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, we won't say anything. But I mean, let's say you named your kid. Let's go back in time and
Walter.
say that you're having a child before
Skylar.
Kingdom Hearts 3, and you're like, I want to name my son my son Riku, and then you play Kingdom Hearts 3, and you're like, this is the worst piece of media that's ever existed. Now my son
close.
is named Riku. Like,
No, that's not a factor in our naming. We've had names locked in for over a year now, and we've had a very short list since we've been married. So basically, when we started trying to have a kid, we just dialed in those names, and we've had it locked in since.
I
So-
think there was a Model Citizen show where we talked about baby names one time.
think so, maybe.
Think
Probably.
so.
Probably.
And
And
is Mario going
so-
to edit that in here? No, I'm not. I'm not going to look for that.
Because I think I remember
it's
saying,
in the archive.
It's in the archive. You can go
yeah,
look for it.
it's somewhere in there. Because I could have sworn we talked about it one time.
Probably did.
So you literally just have 2 names right now. It's either one boy or one girl, and that's it.
Yep.
I didn't
That's
know. If you had,
how-
like a list of maybe 5 for each that you.
I mean, there are other names we like, but we have the names for this child picked out.
This child, is there a sequel in the works? as well?
Oh.
No, in the future, if there are more, then we have other names on a short list. But
Yeah.
let's see how one goes, okay? One at a
Yeah.
time.
With development cycles and all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a 9-month dev cycle. It's kind of like the sport games and stuff.
Yeah.
Dev
All over the
cycles are
crunch.
getting longer. They're getting more expensive too.
Isn't there
Time
crunch
goes
in
on.
them too?
The kids already costing me a lot.
A
So
lot of crunch.
lot of
and
crunch.
a lot of crunching.
Lot of
Log
crunch.
crunch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's weird that we're talking about this now because I guess we've known about it for a month, and we've obviously talked a bunch
Yeah, it's
amongst
just-
ourselves about it since then. So I felt, but we wanted to obviously talk about it on here too. I don't know. I guess the thing, and I did actually want to host this episode because I do want to. There's like one core thing I wanted to talk about.
Yes,
this
you have a
episode.
thread.
Yeah, I do have a thread for all of us.
You're all having children. Surprise.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
surprise! It's all of us. I don't know. I guess just how are you feeling in general? I mean, you wrote a good
Mhm.
blog post about it, and we can link that to in the show notes or whatever
Yeah.
if you want to go read that. And I feel like you talked about a lot of your thoughts there. But are you like scared or confused or excited, or is it a mix of all of them, or like what? Because I feel like we're all in like drastically different parts of our lives right now, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of all of it. Mostly excited. This is something we've planned for and have wanted for, ever since we got married, but it was just a period of waiting to when we thought, you're never ready, but we're as close to ready as we think we'll be. And now it's too late to pull the plug, so, it's locked in now. Super excited. I think the big thing is like this room behind me, by the time we're doing the show in the holidays, the back of this is going to be a crib and changing station and stuff. The desk has to stay in here physically, just space wise. It doesn't go anywhere else in the apartment. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. in general. But
So no more late night recordings is what I'm hearing.
Well, for the beginning of a baby's, like the first year of its life, or first, I don't know, from my understanding, maybe first 6 months up to 12 months, they sleep in the room with you, in like a bassinet type deal. It could be a little earlier, closer to the 6 months if you're trying to. I don't know all this.
They also
Yeah,
might not. They also might not be asleep late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just my recording schedule will be getting weird, and that's a learning curve I'm gonna have to take. But overall, I'm just jazzed about it. I haven't like gotten into research mode and started looking up, strollers.
You haven't
and
bought
cribs
any
and all-
books and read any books?
Did they take any classes
Not yet.
You bought
I
a
did
baby
know
Bjorn?
none of that. Classes apparently are a lot closer to the actual birth. The doctor and stuff has walked us through. There's like, we know how much this is going to cost with insurance and like what we have to pay, which is just shy of like $5,500 just to bring the child into existence.
Yes.
Which
When
again,
I-
we're
Go ahead.
we're prepared for that. That's it wasn't unexpected in that regard. I did have a moment today. Ironic, the day we're recording this is the 27th of April, and I guess there's some cinema thing going on somewhere in the world.
Yes.
Anyway, Disney announced. I swear this is all tied in. They finally announced the name of the sequel to Avatar. Mario and I joked about it at the top of the show. Avatar, The Way of Water.
Way of Water.
It's like a Bruce Lee film.
I can't wait.
Something
I can't
that's
wait.
crazy.
Can't wait.
So, Avatar came out when I was 15.
We saw that
The
with
sequel
Courtney
has been in
York.
development for over half of my life.
Yeah.
Or close to half my life. By the time the sequel is out this December, I will have a 2-month-old child.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
Time is weird.
So what I'm taking away from this is that James Cameron's lazy. That's that's my big takeaway.
Apparently, filming underwater, very difficult. There are
He did it with Titanic. They took that thing down there.
Well, they
and,
filmed
like,
on the water. This time they're
In the water.
They went underwater in that movie. They were in a submarine.
They did eventually
never-
get underwater.
I have
in
never seen the
Titanic.
Titanic.
You never?
Nope. I know how
All
it
you
all
need
goes
to know
down.
is that a lady goes,
I don't want to spoil it
and
for
she
you.
throws some rubies into a water.
That's right.
So,
It's a long movie. I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest.
Real quick aside. I know we're talking about babies. I had there's a 2-tape set of that. I watched
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
And then the second tape just starts with the boat being already in the water. I never saw the boobs until much later in my life. Very upset about that. Very upset.
Yeah.
Continue, Max. Continue talking about childbirth.
Sorry, we had to take a quick aside in the name
That's
of
right.
food.
Kate Winslet, right? Is that who's
Yes,
in that
that's
movie?
boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boobs. That's boobs.
Not misogynistic. Continue.
No, you were like 12 when you saw it. That's fine. You brought up classes, and the thing I was going to say before is the only thing I know about coaching people through having children is what I learned at the end of Star Wars Episode 3 when that robot's just there and she's going, ooh, bah, ooh, bah.
I'll bring that up with Abby and see if that's
Just
a
say
technique she would like me
ooh-bah
to
when
remind
you're
her
in
of.
the room. I think that works.
I'll
Except
bring that
I
up
guess
with her.
she died, so maybe it doesn't work.
Yeah, don't
sadness.
take that.
So don't invoke Uba. Is what it actually
So, Max, real quick, so I'm looking at obviously our old page because I was casually trying to find the baby names thing. But I do notice that in episode 11 is when we first talked about your engagement. And then we, for some reason, kept using you as thumbnails with her. There was you and the manatee. Do you remember that picture?
Yes, that was the honeymoon.
That was 20 episodes later for some reason. So you were in the honeymoon phase. So you went from engagement to marriage to now having a baby through the life of the show. And I find that fascinating. It makes me feel older, to be honest, which is actually...
I didn't even consider. Yeah, this.
Yeah. This has been a touchstone in all three of those things as a resurrection
you told us
to
about
it.
your uncle hiding and taking pictures in some bushes or something.
Which, out of context, if you want to hear the context, please look at the feed.
That is actually kind of wild. Like also at some point you will all meet the child too,
Yes.
which is just another wild thing.
That's another wrinkle. Yeah. Maybe one day
That's
they
crazy.
watch these clips and be weirded out by their crazy uncles as to
That's
what they
terrifying.
did.
That's
Dad, why did Logan want me to say Uba when I was being bored?
Why did they think Captain Crunch was a good cereal mascot?
Dad, I agree with Logan and Mike. Cornelius would mess everybody up.
The great cereal debate will never end.
No. We need to bring it back. There's new cereals.
I'm sure there are. I can't remember last time I had a bowl of cereal.
They're replacing mascots.
Anyway, so I guess to kind of like get back on track somewhat, I guess the thread I wanted to tie in with Max's situation is just, I don't know, just 20s and 30s feel confusing. And Max has probably got his more planned out, obviously, and structured than I think a lot of us do, but
I have an idea. I would,
yeah.
a child is.
I mean, you've been going through all kinds of other stuff lately.
Who knows what the child will bring with it?
I mean,
like-
you've got tons of job stuff you've been going on behind the scenes as well lately, and I know that's been the whole ordeal for you. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess that's just I don't know. I just kind of wanted to broadly bring up. I don't know how we're all feeling nowadays. As weird as that is, like,
Logan, this is a classic Model Citizens feelings episode. Logan wants to talk about his feelings.
Well, we're talking about something serious, so I figure we'll talk about other serious things rather than trying to talk about which version of poop is the best. Is it diarrhea or is it corn poop? Which would win in a fight? Like, we don't need to do that unless
Not today.
Maybe that's
today,
a good idea for the future. Which poop is the best, actually.
One day we will have this legendary poop episode that I think we've been talking about since the inception of this show. I don't think we've ever really had that conversation.
I don't know. We say a lot of stupid things. Anyway, I don't know. Like, I feel like in a lot of ways I have more stability and I'm less confused as I was a couple years ago when we were doing this show. But even then, like, yeah, I feel like a lot of my life lately has just been a big question mark. And like, I don't know what I'm going to do next or where I'm going to be. And I feel like a lot of other people in here have kind of been on the same page. Maybe Mike less so. I know, Grant, you've been talking about some things you might look to do in the future. I don't know if you want to talk about that a lot or not. And Mario, I know you're still trying to grind away with video stuff too, but yeah, I didn't know where you were even at with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll step in really quick, actually. I mean, it's funny because during the pandemic is when I was suddenly starting to finally see some traction in a lot of ways, where I was doing a lot more video stuff, but I wasn't making money doing it still, like on any level, to be honest. And even with the new position that I ended up getting, it's still very similar to the previous position in a lot of ways. I do have a lot more creative control, and that's been the most fun part about doing the last 2 years. But in terms of like actually being able to make a living off of it has been almost still impossible for the most part.
Yeah.
It had to be until, after leaving my personal job at the time, which, to be fair, that job had different circumstances to it that pre-pandemic I wasn't happy with, and even during the pandemic I was like, no, I can't handle this even further, and I had to get out. Oddly enough, I am back at that same position, but I'm at a much higher level of it, and I love it more now than I did then, because I'm being taken it more seriously, and I have way more benefits. I don't want to give too much into why it's different or why is that, but other than I feel secure now with what I have to now actually make positive changes, where I feel like, okay, I can actually live now with this and still be able to do video stuff, which has actually been awesome. I've been having a lot more fun managing as opposed to actually having to grind and like make $20 off a video, as opposed to like, hey, I can have some people that were starting off doing that too. So absolutely, in terms of like Logan, I know that you pretty much write all day.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, how do you feel about the trajectory that you've gone over the last several years? Because you've been writing for a long time, and that's been, that's given you an apartment, that's given you that big ass couch on the back, right? It's given you quite a fit.
Yeah, the couch is an old one for my parents. But no, like it's similar to what you were saying. And I guess the thing to you, or the question I'll bounce back to you is like, I've had a lot of stability with my job and what I've been doing recently, and I feel comfortable and good kind of about where I'm at right now, and I could continue to do this for a while and probably be fine. Especially because my job's not very hard. I mean, yeah, it's like mentally taxing to a degree because I am writing so much every day.
Yeah.
But I sit in this room and it's air conditioned and I wear basketball shorts and people leave me alone and I listen to music all day. So it's not that hard or anything, and it's a lot cushier than a lot of other jobs. I think the thing for me though is that I feel like I'm getting into my late 20s. I'm like reverting back to where I was in my late teens and early 20s. It's like the clock just rolled back like 10 years and I'm now like, oh wait, what do it's like I'm reevaluating like, okay, how did I get here? And is this actually what I want to do for the rest of my life? And that's kind of what's starting to trip me up. Maybe not trip me up, but that's sort of the thing that I'm starting to think of, because for such a long time I grinded to get to do what I'm doing now. And the question I was going to kick back to you is, you're still doing this stuff all on the side.
Yes.
But is it still the thing you even want to do long term?
If it only offered the same as what I'm doing during the day, if it offered that even remotely, then yeah, absolutely. But I just don't see that future. And even with like a bigger site or bigger anything, like I just don't see how that's feasible without having to be in the hubs of certain areas. Like, yeah, I could live here, and I know actually me and Mike know someone that also lives in this state that is doing something similar. But ultimately, it definitely would still have to take a lot. Specifically, what I'm being offered now to do. But yeah, it would honestly have to take quite a bit for me to even consider it. But at the same time, like if they came, I would take it. But at that same token, I'm actually kind of happy of where I am right now, which is something I never would have said 4 years ago, which is, funny to me. And then like within this next 2 months or so, I see major changes happening just because I'll have the stability to do so. And that to me is actually kind of exciting. Like I'm looking into different things, looking into gyms, and just being able to have like a nice set schedule. Like I don't think we've talked about it on the show, but there's a channel you guys got going on where you guys are sharing each other's nudies.
I got some memes for you. Oh, yeah. Good memes, Mario.
Oh, I'm so excited. And I'm looking at that. I'm like, damn, I want to participate, but I haven't had the opportunity to. And now I might have to. Now I might have to push it.
Yeah,
dude.
That's been great. Doing that has been really helpful.
No,
Not to get on like a whole Swolbro tangent, but I will say working out has definitely given me more energy throughout the days. So if you're feeling like I've been feeling like worn down all the time, I definitely feel way more like sustained energy throughout the day. That would be probably the top reason I'd say to start working out or whatever. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Like, do you feel? I saw you like nodding or agreeing a second ago, or like laughing when I said I feel like I was almost like a teenager again, Michael. Like, do you feel? Are you feel like, I don't know. I know Grant's kind of feeling the same way, sort of too, but I don't know how much he wants to.
Tell us the story, Skater
boy.
Boy.
I mostly laugh at that just because because you said that, and I'm literally like talking about working out or whatever. Like, last time I skated was when I was 18, and now I'm going back to skateboarding, and I'm 30 years old, like kind of stuff. So I literally reverted back to like kind of my old self a little bit, but I think it's weird because, initially, like, the whole video game journalism thing, that's like what I thought I really, really wanted to do. And now that I've gotten out of it and I started working at Phase 3 at the brewery, like, I think that was probably like the best decision I made, because I think a lot of that, like you guys talking about the whole like freelancing and all that stuff really stressed me out, and I don't know how to put myself out there like how you guys did. It's just not the kind of person that I was.
I don't think I put myself out there much more than you did, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing is that like I think I don't want to get into a whole thing of like who's a good writer, who's a bad writer, all that stuff. But like for me to have, I feel like to have really gotten more into it is just I should have grinded a little bit more on it, and I never really had the chance to really ever do that because of my living situation. Of like I was paying for an apartment. I was, there was the whole wedding part there too for a little bit, and working a second job too, like full time, plus doing that. Like it just never worked out. And there was a moment where I thought about like right before we got this house, because there was a moment where we thought we weren't going to find a house for a little bit longer, because house hunting right now is terrible.
House hunting when you were buying a house was terrible. Now it's even worse.
And now it's even worse. But we managed to find one. But if we had not found this house, we would have still been living with my brother-in-law, and I really wanted to quit Starbucks really bad. And I was thinking about just going full-time, just freelance, and see how it goes for like 4 or 5 months. Luckily, that didn't happen, and we got a house, and I ended up also getting a job at what was one of my favorite breweries locally, like just ever, really. Just doing like random packaging stuff, and I think that was probably the best thing that has happened now for me. I missed writing and stuff like that, but my job is really frustrating sometimes, but I really enjoy it, and it's really fulfilling. And I don't know where. It's a question that's been asked for me from my work of just like, where do you see yourself in like 5 years? I'm like, and you kind of asked that same question too of like, is this the thing you want to do for the rest of your life and all that stuff? I never really think about that stuff, because I don't really know what I'm doing like next week. So like half the time when there's not really any, like, I kind of just live in the moment, and right now I'm enjoying it. So for the most part.
I feel like I'm kind of in a similar place too. Like people have asked me again. I have a good job. Like my job is fine by all means. But like people have asked me lately, or I don't know, just whenever I talk to people, they're like, "Oh, do you like your job? Do you want to keep doing what you're doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I don't think I want to do it forever." And they're like, "Oh, well, are you applying to other places?" And I'm like, "No." So it's like I don't want to do this till I'm 40 or 50, I don't think, but I'm also not actively pursuing anything else. So just like
for
whatever
me,
may happens. I kind of jokingly mentioned to you guys the other day that I was moving up to Chicago, and that's just because like some potential job got kind of dropped in my face associated with that, and nothing will come from that, and it wasn't even anything that.
But
like,
hey, pizza. We can have pizza all the time now.
Could have pizza
and ruin the Swole Boys Discord channel. I was gonna say for me primarily, like I stopped the listings of the job interviews and our job inquiries before I got this new one, because I don't care to know what's going on in my neighborhood anymore for film stuff, because I'm not interested. Honestly,
yeah,
generally not interested unless it's something that I'm like, wow, I can't say no to. Then I don't really look at that anymore.
Yeah, and to kind of answer your question, like how am I feeling about my life so far, like with everything going on? Like I kind of think I have an idea of what will happen in the next year or so with how, like, I don't know, talking with Amber and stuff. My goal was always to just not have to work a bunch of different jobs to to live. I hated that. That was my least favorite thing, was like working. There was a moment before where I was working 3 jobs just to like kind of sustain, because there was a job that I was going for that I like was really trying for. Then there was a job, like I worked at GameStop sometimes. And then there was Starbucks. I did all of those 3 things, and Starbucks was full time. Writing might as well have been full time, and then GameStop was like a seasonal thing. But I never wanted to do that ever again. So now that I have a job, it doesn't like pay like it's not like this amazingly well-paying job that I could live in I know. It pays.
You can buy
the bill-
Travis Scott's at
I could bet-
resale.
Yeah, I cannot buy Travis Scott's at resale. I could buy them at retail though. So, but it allows me to like. I have the freedom to get stuff, or I have the freedom to. I could buy a house. You know, I could do all those things, and that's the only thing to me that matters. I don't need to make 6 figures to be happy. Like I'm
Yeah.
perfectly happy with. I mean, for me, it comes down to like, how do you envision your life, and what will make you happy? Like, do you need to have a ton of money, or can you like having just like a job that pays like 50K or so a year, or even less maybe, and as long as you find the places that let you have that life, because I mean, it's really expensive to live in places like, if you're in
And
Chicago,
places
like
like
Mario,
everywhere.
yeah,
at
like
this point,
everywhere.
unfortunately.
But like,
I mean, obviously we're way cheaper in Indy than you guys in Chicago, but the
but
whole
even
country's kind
my
of
place
messed up.
isn't terribly expensive. I would say mine's actually pretty cheap.
Mario's place is, I'm gonna guess, is expensive.
Yeah, I would assume Mario's place is very expensive, but
Mario probably has the most expensive place.
yeah, but I would say
In
that
comparison to the city, no, it's like 11, but yeah, it's still
that's
pretty
not bad.
expensive. Yeah, out of other places though, it definitely can be.
Yeah, but yeah, to me, it's always been, you know, what kind of life do you want to live? What makes you happy, and then just shoot for that. Because I'm not gonna try shooting for some. I don't want to make like a bajillion. Like, it would be nice if I made $1 bajillion a year, but that's just not realistic. So what are the things that I want to do with my life, with Amber or whatever, and how can I make that happen? That's how I always look at it.
I think the other big thing for me too, and this is something we can definitely talk about with Grant, because I know he's done this way more this year than any of us, I would say. But like, as I've started to get less satisfaction out of my day job, because again, for the longest time, that was the thing. Like, I want to do this, and video games, I like those. And now that whole hobby is like associated with work. I've been trying to find other things that I enjoy doing that I can like turn into hobbies or whatever. And unfortunately, one of those has been like shoes, I guess, to some degree, which is not really a hobby, I guess. That's just
It's an addiction.
a thing.
It's shopping.
It's just shopping. That's so
Yeah.
I wouldn't even really consider that a thing, at least to a degree, I guess. I don't know. You can research that stuff and anyway. But like Grant's gotten really into cooking and coffee this year and stuff like that. And I think those are the things I have found myself more, not cooking and coffee specifically, but more just trying to be like open to like, what do I want to do with my free time? Because I no longer have this desire to be like, I'm trying to beat all 8 Yakuza games if they're in my backlog. And like you'll never see me mention a backlog anymore, because that's just like,
backlogs don't exist here.
I just like, for the longest, I've been fighting against this fake backlog for like 10 or 12 years now, and guess what? It's never gotten any smaller. So I don't know. I play whatever the heck I'm in the mood for at this point. And Mario gets a cat on his face.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, again, that's how like skateboarding, how I ended up getting into skateboarding, because like I did video games for so long, and honestly, I don't get nearly as much satisfaction from playing video games anymore. Like, I keep on going through games, just like other than Sekiro. Great game. That is one of the best games ever made. I'll say that right now.
Dark Souls 1.
It is now one of my favorite games of all time. But other than that game, and that game actually ruined me on video games now. I don't even know what to play anymore. I'm done. Like, video games are over.
Funny you say that. Funny you say
We
that.
have a great game
Video
for
games
you.
ended. They're done.
No, no,
the
Catherine. No, Persona 4. Straight up, Elden Ring has fucked me on games. I can't play nothing else but it, and I need to fucking finish it so I can be free of the goddamn curse. Fuck
the
you,
thing.
Hold on.
Radagon.
If you guys feel like
some-
this, you know what else you should play? League of Legends.
No.
No.
Listen to
Even
me.
I says that.
If you feel this way about FromSoft games, then you'll also like League of Legends.
Grant said that, like, he was like, "Oh, it's time to play League of Legends," and I went on my computer the other day, and I still haven't installed. I never uninstalled it.
That's better than me at this point.
But yeah, that game. I did play some of Elden Ring. I've played like at least 15 hours of it. I beat like 5 bosses, one of which is the main boss, but I was like, it's not the same as Sekiro. Sekiro's way better. I'm just gonna say it right now. But
Play
anyway,
Val's a good game.
yeah, that's the real Dark Souls game. Can I play this game for 10 minutes straight? It's
No.
very hard.
Grant, how'd you get into like coffee and like how did you just all of a sudden decide like, oh, I like this?
Not only like this, but like go so deep.
I like
into
this.
the
I would like
rabbit
to
hole.
import an Italian espresso machine.
Well, you see, there's this
yeah.
game called Persona 5.
Well, very surface level.
That's where it
it's like
starts.
that's sort of where it starts. When I was like looking at in Persona 5, I was like, oh, look at this cool coffee shop. I'm like looking around, I was like, oh, he keeps all his beans back there. And on all the way to the left, if you walk in the Persona 5 LeBlanc Cafe, right next to where you can go into like the little kitchen area and the bathrooms there's this weird looking contraption, and that's the coffee siphon or coffee vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this thing can't be real. So I look online, I was like, coffee thing in Persona 5 pops up. I'm like, this is a real thing. I must have this thing because I am the biggest Persona 5 fan. So that's how I got into coffee, why I want to get more into coffee and the pursuit of like, oh, one day I want to have my own shop was more so I was making coffee. It was Easter, I want to say it was 2 years ago. I have it on my phone because I marked down when that happened.
While you're looking at that, I just want to say, not only were you into coffee, but do you remember? I think it was 2 years ago at Logan's house. You made us curry, which was
That was Max.
Was
I
Max that
made
did
the
it?
curry.
Oh, you made it? I thought it was
made the
you.
curry.
Max made the curry.
No.
I was gonna say I was gonna tie that to
curry,
Persona
man.
5. Okay, but I guess not.
No. We have the Persona 5 curry recipe though,
We
courtesy
do.
of
We can
Logan.
make that.
They
Next
can make
time.
that happen. They can make that
I
happen.
made it like 3 different times, but why I got more so into like, oh, this is something I definitely want to do in the future was Easter. I was making coffee early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. and there's only 2 people up in my house at that time. It's me and my mom. We're the only people who wake up early. And when I was making coffee, she came downstairs and was like, I haven't smelled coffee in years because she didn't like to drink coffee, I found out. And she was like, and I just started talking to her about it. And she was like, yeah, the last moments I had with my mom was the smell of coffee and cigarettes because I always had to bring it to her as she was dying. So she always got up early in the morning, made coffee, brought her cigarettes. And then that was what she associated with her mom. So like at the time I sort of sat there, I was like, wow, my mom's like so moved and like emotional about like coffee, just the smell alone. So I was like, I wonder if other people feel that way. So what I did was start going to coffee shops, like hang out, whether it was acting like I'm reading or working on my laptop or something. I sort of just sit there and eavesdrop a little bit and
Undercover.
just hear like,
Yeah.
essentially just
Yeah.
sort of eavesdrop and listen on everything. Like you hear a lot of first dates going on, business meetings,
Whoa.
friends catching up. Like there's a whole bunch of things going on in a standard coffee shop. I was like, oh, I want to create a place where people are making these memories all centered around coffee, whether maybe they find the love of their life. Maybe it's like a big business meetings happening going on. They get a promotion or something goes great with their business, or you catch up with a friend they haven't seen in like years over just a cup of coffee, something that everyone in the world traditionally drinks or has some relation to. So that's what that moment with my mom, I think, was the big turning point of like, all right, I'm investing in this. I'm going to take classes on this. I'm going to get a diploma from the Specialty Coffee Association. I'm going to get an espresso machine from Italy. All these different things was mostly from that moment on. Before then, it was just fun, like, oh, look, I can make coffee and look like a chemist in my room.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I mean, I guess the way that you got into coffee, like how you've gotten into coffee, is like the same way how I was into beer, and then I ended up working at a brewery. So
I like to drink. Let me work there.
basically, no, I mean, like it's kind of the same thing. Like I associate drinking beer, like craft beer and stuff, with like hanging out with my brother-in-law and doing all like, and he's been he has now become like one of the more important figures in my life now, just because he's been there for a lot of stuff. So I always share like a ton of like I have a lot of good moments with him, and a lot of it is because of beer, because either we've made it. There's also like the whole craft of it, like like making it, and having people try it, serving it, and having people enjoy it is like really satisfying when they actually do enjoy it. So, but also like like you're saying, like the moments you share it, like just having fun drinking and stuff like that, or just sharing a glass of beer or whatever is awesome. Like that's a cool feeling. And I mean, it's totally different than what my job is. I'm just putting beer into a can basically, but I mean, I understand where you're going for. I also worked at a Starbucks, so I also definitely know what you're talking about.
That's good coffee, you told me.
Yeah. So
that's fair.
What Grant wants to do sounds like the opposite of what I do for a living. Like, wow, I want to bring people into this place where they can have great moments. And I'm like, how can I get people to click on this article? How can I disingenuously bring people to my website? It's not disingenuously, but what's the most attractive way?
Leave studio.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I've had my dreams of also wanting to, because I worked at a Starbucks, like going and opening a coffee shop too. Again, with my brother-in-law, because he's the person who was also working at Starbucks too. Always had that kind of dream.
No,
So.
and just to tie up the like the little part of my story where I said that like I need to be at a big website that be doing something like that. I still have a passion for movies, and I still have a passion of wanting to do those. And those are things that are always in me that I've always connected to my life. I know that we all seem to have these sense memories of coffee or breweries or even like skateboarding stuff as well. Movies is that for me and my dad. As someone who I'm not particularly close, I hope he doesn't watch this, particularly close in these last several years. That's the one memory I still attached to, is like him handing me like the copy of Willy Wonka or Goonies, right? So I still always have that, and I always still think about those movies and how they make me feel and how much I want to make that for somebody one day. And that will still ultimately be the goal, even if it ends up just being an independent thing that I make, not necessarily like it blew up and now I'm making fucking Jaws 7 or whatever. So I still would love to do that.
Make Jaws 7 more.
I would love to make Jaws 7. Just fucking forget 5 and just go straight to 7. Jaws double revenge. I want to do it.
It's like the Thanksgiving Jaws movie.
Yes. I was thinking, I was like, that's Thanksgiving. Wow.
Fucking in 40X. Let's go.
No, the reason why skateboarding is great is because it's exactly like a Dark Souls game. All right, now
It's
hear me
hard to
out.
do bosses.
Now hear me out on this. All
You're not wrong.
You try to learn this trick. It looks super simple. The only thing is your mind that, like, or it is simple. It's just your mind. All right, you
just
gotta
not
open your
big
mind
brain enough
to it,
yet.
and then once you get big brain enough for it, then you like understand the movements that you're supposed to do for certain tricks and stuff.
So what
Is there
you're
a lot of
saying is
rolling?
Easy.
There's a
So
lot of
what you're-
rolling.
What you're saying is Tony Hawk is like the equivalent of the dude who can beat Dark Souls with DK bongos.
Yes,
Those are the same person, basically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Tony Hawk, Nadas, Ray Barbie, all those guys. They're those guys. They could do speed runs with blindfolded, basically, in Dark Souls, Bloodborne, all that stuff.
Hitless, a damageless, secure,
Yeah.
with a blindfold on.
Yes, but yeah, that's why skateboarding has been really great too. Because not only has it been like we were talking about it, like we have this channel in our Discord where we talk about losing weight because we decided like, oh, we're gonna try losing weight. And I mean, I've been doing this for the past like couple years of. I started skateboarding because I wanted to lose weight because I hated going to a gym because gyms sometimes suck and they're expensive.
Yeah.
And I wasn't having fun lifting weights anymore. So I was like, oh, I want to do something that's active. And I started skating again because I did that when I was in high school and I never really did that before. Or haven't done it since then. So I got back on board and started skating. And then, at the time when I started, I was like 240 was how much I weighed. And now, probably a year and a half later, I'm 185 pounds. So it's working. And
Just don't fall out of love with
it's just
skateboarding.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Well, that will never happen. I've always liked it. I've always looked into it. I just never. There was when I was 8 or think it was 18 or 19, I sprained my ankle really bad skating, and it kind of freaked me out, and I stopped skating.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then 10 years later, got back on a board and started skating
Well,
again. Now
it's
like my favorite thing to do. The only thing is that there's no places near my house, and I have to drive like at least 30 minutes to a skate park to actually do that. But
yeah. You got Tony Hawk still at what 53 is his age right now, just still kicking it.
Dude,
So
Tony Alva still skates. And
Tony Alva,
is
thank you. Yeah, and Peralta.
That dude is like 65 or 70 years old or something like that, and he's still breaking into backyard pools and skating them.
It's fucking awesome.
Never too old.
Yeah, and in the same way, we're all like, I feel like I'll never too old to make a movie. I just got to do it. I got to figure that out and just do it, apply to it when I want to do.
Turn my script into a movie.
Oh, 100%. It's going to be the first script that I do.
Yes. The other thing I want to
have
say
to read the
is
second half.
No, we shouldn't.
I want to. So bad.
I was gonna say the other thing is that this thing with skating and also maybe even with music and stuff like that, I do not want them to ever become jobs, because I found out when I tried to make something that I like into a job, it always becomes terrible.
That's kind of where I'm at with the game stuff.
Now, like in Grant's case, because I know he wants to open up a coffee shop and stuff, like if that's what you want to, like if that's how you want to live and that's like the thing you want to do, that's totally different. It's because now it looks like it's beyond the hobby for you, Grant. The whole like all this coffee stuff is.
My wallet has exploded. Yes.
Yeah, it is
beyond the
beyond.
hobby.
It seems like it's beyond the hobby at this point, and you're pretty serious about this, and you like it. So no matter what, it'll be whatever. It'll be great. But like in terms of something like skating, I could never have a job doing that. But like even something like music or like video game stuff, like having done the video game thing and like kind of it being a job, not like a really big job or anything like that, but that like has kind of legitimately ruined video games to an extent for me, to a point to where I just don't get a lot of satisfaction from playing video games anymore. So any sort of like passion that I have for stuff that like music and skating and stuff like that, I just don't want it to I don't want it to be a job anymore. I just want it to be with me. I don't have to share thoughts on it. I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to make content for it. I just want to do it and then shove it away and then
not to get too deep into the whole like why do you not like them the same way anymore. But I will say the reason I don't think I like them as much nowadays is because of the discourse and it being in my face all the time. If that makes it weird, like I have not.
You have a very specific point of view on it. Like
it's very strange that I have not played Elden Ring yet. Very strange.
Yeah.
But I have written about it so much and I see it every day and I just have not had an extreme desire to play it because of that. Does that mean I will dislike the game or I don't want to play it? No.
He's going to fucking love it.
Yeah, I actually really want to play it very badly because it'll probably be one of my favorite games ever. But I just don't have the drive to start it really yet, or I've started it, but just like get really into it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's strange at all. That happened to me, and still does, but that happened to me all the time when I did guides and stuff. Like, when I did The Witcher 3, I put 175 hours into The Witcher 3, and that was all work. I wasn't assigned that second DLC, that Blood and Wine thing, for work. I've never touched it. And I genuinely liked The Witcher. It wasn't just I spent all that time working. I really liked The Witcher. I have not touched that DLC. And Cyberpunk, I haven't touched it. It's just, I'm like,
didn't touch my Christmas present.
I touched it. I just haven't played it.
Wow, this guy hates me.
Wow.
Logan straight threw that shit in the trash when he played it the one day he was there.
I was just like, yeah, I think I'll wait. Actually, on this one,
play it. It's actually really good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's you spend so much time in one thing, it starts to wear you out. That's what happened in part when I burned this whole network down to the first time. Just buckle up, wait till the baby shows up, and I burn it all down again.
We'll replace you.
I have a 4-camera window. It's okay, Max.
What do you mean?
I have a 4-camera window.
We already replaced you. We got Grant here.
Exactly. I'm actually the 5th citizen.
Yeah.
So,
Lord.
but I had spent so much time trying to do the video game thing like Mike had talked about and like what Logan does. And I just needed a break from all of it. And I realized that I can do that as a hobby.
Yeah.
And so I've claimed not just playing games, but doing the whole writing and podcasting thing on my own. And it is way more satisfying than it ever was before. And so I think sometimes taking a break or finding something else to supplement that time differently helps tremendously. And you know what? It's okay if you don't play the new hotness right away.
Yeah.
Elden Ring is still going to be Elden Ring next year,
I mean,
5
that's
years.
literally.
10 years.
So, for some reason, I was thinking about this as I was driving home from the gym this morning. I was like, man, Elden Ring, I still haven't played that. And I was like, well, I could definitely set aside time to play it. I'm like, what's the only way in my life that I don't play that game eventually? I'm like, well, I guess I could die. Like that was like I'll play
That's
it
fair.
I'll play it at some point.
But
the only way I would it is if I just keeled over.
But the
tomorrow or
problem, Logan, is that the patch 1.4 though ruined everything. They nerfed the mimic tier. I mean, the damn bloody
can't
swords
create
doesn't
the
work
same-
anymore. You can't cheese Radagon.
Yeah, I can't use my same cheese build anymore to beat
Yeah.
all these bosses.
Can't do it.
I think you've got to get good and
Yeah.
learn to roll.
And
Build
jump.
a strength. Yeah, use a strength build. Get a two-handed weapon and smash somebody.
Donkey taught me it's all luck and rolling. So
Yep.
build that luck stat.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. I don't know if we want to talk about anything much else tonight. I feel like we've been going for
I was gonna
a
say
normal
also
time or so.
just to reiterate, I don't enjoy video games as much anymore, legitimately because of Sekiro. I just want to say that right now.
How?
That game has ruined me. I don't know how to enjoy video games the
You
same
you
way.
can't, you've now entered the realm of you're chasing the
It's not
dragon.
even. Yeah, it's not even like I played Demon Souls. I played I think 20 hours of that game. Not the same. It's not good. I don't like it.
Demon Souls is way lower on my list.
It's not great.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I started playing Bloodborne, and
That's
I
good.
and I beat the second boss, and I did the thing where I jumped out of my chair, and I was like, oh, this might be one of them. This might be one of the good games. I might have to play this game.
Oh
Bloodborne,
Lord.
Oh.
Dark Souls 1, and Dark Souls 3. Those are the ones.
Yeah,
That got me started into Elden Ring because I played Dark Souls 3 and was like, I'm actually liking this. I'm going to try Elden Ring now.
The thing
played
about
Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring, though, the thing about Elden Ring that I noticed is that I feel like the thing that I liked about Sekiro and Bloodborne from what I played of it is that I think I like the linear nature of it and
Sure.
how it
Yeah.
it makes you have to overcome the obstacle. Like you have to overcome this obstacle. You can't just run away.
Dark
the
Souls
thing
is
about-
kind of like that, dude.
And
To a
and-
degree. To
Yeah.
a degree.
Whereas in Elden Ring, you could mid boss fight, like for any of the mini bosses, I can't remember, not like the bigger bosses, but
Yeah.
like in a mini boss, you could just run away. Like you just go away and be like, all right, I can't do this anymore. Or if it's a boss in the open world, you can just ride your horse and just hit it once, run away, hit it once, run away. Like it's it's easier to cheese and kind of find little exploits here and there on it. And I don't think it's as satisfying. And again, I've only played a few hours of it. Like I said, I've only beaten one.
You
main
fucking tell that to
boss.
Malekith and I'll talk to you later. Okay, fucking rip my heart out.
I did one main boss and I did 5 other bosses that are in the world. I don't know.
Yeah, look at my Twitter at Night Mute City if you want to see me rip some ass. Fucking hold
You
the
could-
ringer, right? Doing
And
some
it's also
nasty shit.
it's also one of those things where it's you could be so overpowered for some of those fights where it's literally 4 hits on a boss. You're like, okay, I win. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, for sure. When I double
So-
backed, I was like, "No, I can fuck you up."
which was never the case. Which is why
With Sekiro?
I don't know. Yeah, with Sekiro and why I really liked it because there was moments in that game where you're just banging your head on something, but it's still gets you close enough to the point where you're like, okay, I'm figuring this out. I could do this, and then you play the Demon of Hatred like 2 hours in, and you're like, okay, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do
No,
this.
fair
and then
enough.
You finally beat them, and then you throw your controller and say "fuck you," and then you win, and then you take a break for about 2 days.
You smoke a
Is it
cigarette
great?
after that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
smoke a cigarette.
I need to take a goddamn
still-
break.
Dude,
I still remember when I was playing those games. It was back when I lived with Grant, and he would be upstairs playing with his friends, and I would be downstairs playing the Dark Souls games. And every now and then, I would just start screaming at my TV. I could hear Grant upstairs just start laughing. He's like, "I think my roommate's chipping out." So I'm downstairs screaming at the
It
Dark
is
Souls game.
it is legitimately the only game that has given me that feeling. And now I search for that feeling in every video game, and there is no
It's
video
like,
game
you
that does
can't-
it. And now video games are ruined. Video
like-
games ended with Sekiro. It's
It's like
done.
you try to play
Or-
the Marvel's Galaxy game. You're like, this ain't the same. This is not the same. This ain't hitting. Stop with these
Dude.
fucking tutorials.
So
Yeah, I mean-
now my thing is that I'm only gonna play narrative-driven games or Souls games.
Got it.
So balance.
Because narrative-driven games, like Life is Strange,
Life is
was great.
Strange. Yeah.
Gameplay is not even an option, really. You just pick options. That's it. That's the game. So you don't even have to worry about that part.
Sure.
And if it's a well-told story, it's great. Like I'm playing Norco right now, kinda, and like that's just literally reading a book. So I don't. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Yeah.
All right, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
Or-
good game you should play. Persona
or just-
5.
Or just play
That's a good narrative.
or Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Also,
I was gonna ask you what it. I mean, not about that game specifically, but what has it been like to play that in a time where you're like, man, I don't think I like games as much as because of Sekiro.
It's interesting because since like starting my job with like a brewery thing, like the brewery, it's been nice to just kind of play what I want and
Yes.
play at my own pace.
Yes.
Like I played Sekiro throughout an entire year. It's not like I sat down for like a week and just played it. It literally took me a year to beat it because I was just like, all right, I need to take.
Don't
a
put
break.
that
And then
evil
I
on
take
me.
And then I take a month break. It was like how I played. It was kind of like how I played Yakuza 7. Also, like
Nice.
I kept on stopping at a point, and then I'd take like 2 weeks off, and then I'd come back to Yakuza 7, and I'd be like, why did I? Like,
That's
why-
me and Zero right now. I've been in a 3-year
this
hiatus
game?
with that game. That's me and
That's
Zero.
that's me with Yakuza Kiwami 2, which I just started playing the
Yeah.
other day. I was
And
like,
you're like,
oh, this game's
Wait,
pretty good. Why did I
it's
stop playing
amazing.
this?
I'm an idiot. Why I stop playing this game? It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
It's like the same thing with Sekiro. It was like I would stop playing it at a point. I get to this like, oh no, I play that game with a guide. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. But
Fucking. Who do you think I'm playing Elden Ring
There's no
with?
problem. There's no problem. There's no problem.
but
No problem playing with that game with a guide because it's not like you can look up a walkthrough and be like, "Oh, I now know how to beat the
I'm playing-
boss."
I'm playing nuts and bolts sometimes with a guide. I don't care. I just wanna beat games.
You just want to, yes, you want to feel that accomplishment, endorphin rush,
Yeah,
and
the
then move
point
on.
where I'm just like, I just want to beat the game, and I don't want to get stuck on stuff. If I get stuck on something, then it just makes me not want to play it. So I'll use a
Fair
guide.
enough.
You're welcome, Max. I'm using your guides for stuff sometimes.
Only the ones that I've worked on.
I think I have used your guides at some point.
There was a video game, Max, that I was playing. I was like, who wrote this? Ah, fuck me. It's Max Remembers.
Well, which
But,
one?
I don't remember.
fascinated.
I don't remember.
Donkey Kong
Oh, no.
Tropical Ape.
That was
Donkey
one of
Kong
them.
Frozen Ape. I'm sorry, that's the name of that game.
I'm certain I've probably used your guide for Red Dead Redemption 2.
If you were hunting legendary animals, I definitely did.
Did you
that.
do
La-
God of War?
I did God of War. Yeah,
Okay.
part of it. I was on the
Could've been
team
it.
for both of those.
Okay.
Could have been it.
Wait, God of War or God of War 2018?
Those
28.
goddamn Ravens.
Anyway, that's all I want.
The last thing I'll say before we wrap up. Speaking
Yeah.
of games that are good that I don't know why I ever stopped playing. Mike, we should go play Resident Evil 6 some more.
Oh,
Fucking fuck. I knew it. I fucking knew you were going to say that.
There's a dedicated roundhouse kick button on
Yes.
that game.
Yes, there
It
is.
Good.
you could do the.
You do back
like a running
body
DDT.
slams.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Running DDTs and body slams. Yeah.
Yeah, can't you do what's the other ones you can do? There's
Do a
DDT.
drop kick.
You can do the spinning one. What is it called? Why can I not think of it?
Spinning dropkick? Or just-
No. You
roundhouse
can
kick?
like spin
Oh,
around
a
somebody's.
Hurricane Rana?
Yeah, you could do a Hurricane
Yeah,
Rana on
Hurricane
people.
Rana.
Their zombie heads just explode.
It's
What game is
amazing.
this?
This is Resident Evil 6.
The best one, according to
No,
Mike and Logan.
There's no Resident
second
Evil
best
6.
one. The second
There's-
best one. The best
there's
one.
no-
It's the
Village.
giraffe.
Draft. It's Resident Evil Draft. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, draft tech one.
And on that note,
On the note of Resident Evil draft sex, yes. This is a Model Citizen show. If you want to listen to us more, you can listen wherever you listen to this in the first place. We're also on podcast services, I think, right?
yes.
I haven't even checked. Like, I know we are, but I haven't
So-
gone on to Apple and like added it to my feed or whatever.
Max, it was established on the Anchor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you upload all the old episodes too?
No one gave me those files.
Oh shit. we'll figure that out.
I was gonna say I gave them to somebody, didn't I?
You did. No one is. I've asked. No one's giving them to me.
Oh. Well,
the
expect
last-
about 40 episodes to get uploaded here pretty soon.
Did the last episode get uploaded? Just curious.
I have. There's no.
All right,
no
cool.
audio
We'll
files in
figure
that
that
folder.
out.
We have learned that there's a flaw in our upload system.
I
the
just
video-
made the account.
but the
and I
video is
gave
up.
The keys.
The video is up. Yeah, the
Yes.
video. It's for sure on YouTube. Now
Well-
that we've had this very stupid discussion on air, we'll get the other stuff figured out.
Yes.
Like, now.
Maybe we'll regularly drop old episodes on there now that we'll figure that out.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll do that. I've got a lot of those banked somewhere, so
Perfect.
We'll figure that out.
Okay. Sorry, Max. That's my fault. Personally, that's personally my fault. Oh my god. Oh, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
By the way, for people wondering what's happening to Mac's monthly homework, stay tuned. There'll be a separate there'll be a separate video for that. So if we missed it out on this episode, don't worry, it's coming. It'll be on the same channel. So there you go. But yes.
Cool. So yeah, we'll do a separate video for that. Otherwise, if you want to keep following us here, you can follow us on Twitter at ModelPods.
Yes.
I will try to remember to tweet out the show when it's there live, or one of us will. I think we all have access now.
We'll figure that out.
Otherwise, you can follow us all on Twitter. I'm at Moreman12. Max is at Max Roberts 143. Michael's at not Super Ruse. It's
The Michael J. Ruiz.
the Michael J. Ruiz. I want to say Mudkip 143, but no. I got like 12 Twitter names in my head. Mario's at Night Mute City. Elon Musk unlock his old account.
Please.
Unlock that Mario
Please.
Rivera.
Well, apparently he might not have Twitter. Who knows
Oh,
by the time of
Elon
this
Musk
episode?
always given if you you give him back his account.
I forgive you calling that one guy a pedophile. Just unlock my account.
And Grant, you're at, is it Grant Callahan _?
It's Grant, 2 underscores, Callahan.
There you go.
Okay.
Auto parts.
There you go.
Yeah, Grant
Yes.
Michael Phelps Callahan Auto Parts. As
Uh,
a middle school teacher called me that every time.
I'm so sorry. I just brought up bad memories.
Shout out to Miss Blevins. That was the one who did it, right?
Yep.
Shout out
That's
to
what I thought.
Tommy Boy.
Miss Blevins, the teacher me and Adam performed Crazy Train in front of her math class
Oh my
in
god,
7th or 8th grade.
amazing.
Anyway,
It's
and
Chris Farley fan.
I could, but hold on, I finished this story. I couldn't play the guitar solo, obviously, because I suck at guitar. So instead, we turned it into a cowbell solo. That's it for this episode of the show. If you want to hear us assign Max more homework, be sure to watch the next video. Until then, bye.
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 Bye.